Hey everyone, I have a collection of 1/6 scale firearms. This is a MPX, a Sig Sauer MPX. I don't know if this is made by Damn Toys or one of its subsidiaries. Could be Virtual Toys or they have other brands, but it's awesome. It's all plastic though. I don't play with these because they are plastic, but you can obviously add and remove accessories and all that stuff. But I don't think the action on this one works. Alright, anyways. So I've been collecting these 1/3 scale pistols, but now I realize it's 1/3 scale rifles, and so this is a variation of developed from the MPX, I think. This is called the MCX. So Wikipedia tells me this was introduced in 2015, and variations of this could be, I guess, easily interchangeable rounds. Maybe you can swap out the barrels easily. So it can shoot either 5.56 or 300 AACs or 7.62 ammo. So I think that's pretty neat. Alright. And then there's many variations of rifle, but this is called the Rattler, which is meant to be a personal defense weapon. Basically a machine gun pistol. And this thing is capable of shooting, I believe, according to Wikipedia, 800 to 900 rounds a minute. Kind of crazy. Okay, well, anyways, I got this off Taobao, but I think you can actually just buy this from Goatguns. They have this thing as well. And I think I saw one listing on AliExpress. I'll try to find it if I can or not. But eBay, Amazon, all that stuff. Alright, so this did come in a different box, but clearly that didn't do a good job. And it doesn't matter. This thing is made of metal and plastic, as you can see, so it should be pretty strong. Oh boy, hold on. Alright, so they're the parts that we should be getting. It definitely doesn't fire, but it might eject rounds. We'll have to see. So if you lose the box or you buy it used, there are the instructions. Let's get this open. Is this taped? Yes, it is taped, but you can just hear the metal in there. Alright, so we got this little blister pack thing. Oh, that's also stapled. Stapled in many spots. Well, I guess they probably had to do that because it's so heavy. Okay. Boy. This is actually very nice. This is like a felt lined plastic. So we have a stand, and this is actually alloy. This is die cast of some sort. So, well, neat. I guess it has to be because the thing's so heavy, maybe. Look at this round. So the Rattler, I guess, is meant to shoot 300 ammo, the AAC blackout ammo, which I've never even heard about this ammo up until researching this video. Okay, very neat. That looks pretty cool. It would have been even cooler if the tips were painted a different color, but can't have everything. So barrel shroud, I guess. Yeah, metal as well. A little bit of a seam there, but that's fine. And it's gray, obviously. You can buy a black version. Probably a desert version. I wish they made like some camouflage ones. Maybe they will in the future, or maybe they've already been out. So you got screwdrivers as well, and obviously maybe well, I'm not sure what that part is. 2, 3 bullets so far. Maybe the bottom of a magazine, or I don't know. Luckily it has instructions in the box. Look at this optic, that's cool. Yeah, you can actually see through it. Does this flip down? I don't know if this is plastic right here, so I'm very careful trying to move this because it's very tight. You might have to like do this a few times to break it in. I think there's another, yeah, there's definitely plastic right there, but this doesn't have any plastic at all. I'm not sure why why? Anyone that knows, anyone that really knows about guns, why would these fall down if they're not covering up the, if they're not like blanked off, you know? I can understand if you're trying to protect the glass inside, but why would you just have open rings like that? Very strange. This does not twist. Yeah, nothing else. That's kind of obviously not very realistic. I guess if you sand that down and add some black paint, that would help. But it's pretty hard to ignore this giant seam line here where the two halves are put together. This thing actually does clamp like a real thing, so that's neat. Alright, this is plastic though, what I just touched there. That's fine. So the stock here, yeah, metal as well, but the butt, oh, this is actually rubbery, the butt plate. It's got two Phillips screws holding it in place. That's neat. And then this is also metal, I think, this black part, the hinge, which I guess, oh, there's one of this, maybe this needs a set screw to go into the rifle. Well, we'll deal with that later. It's like a silencer. This is metal, very heavy, and it's got threads on it. And the end there, just smooth. Okay, yeah, very neat. Alright, so it only comes with three bullets, it looks like. Alright, the mag plate, or whatever you would call this thing, it's got actual, like a concave surface to better support the bullet, I guess. And let's pop this in here. Alright, very neat. The spring isn't too strong, so although it's a long bullet. The thing is this ridge here, so it's kind of snagging on that a little bit. I feel like maybe it would be better if you just had something else to push this down. I'm going to try with this little steel thing. Yeah, that helps. Maybe you want to use something like a chopstick or a thin piece of plastic or something. Alright, so 3 rounds in there. I don't know if you can buy extra rounds. Probably you can, but it looks like you'll hold at least 2 more. Yeah, I bet 2 more, but I don't think it's going to hold 10. The spring is taking up too much space in there. This is metal as well, but again, pretty hard to ignore that parting line there. Okay. So then the actual main body here. Yeah, this grip is really oddly shaped, but it looks like the photograph, when we put it together, we'll compare. I don't know if this metal or plastic. I think it's metal, so that's nice. It's just so thin and frail looking. If it was plastic, I'd be afraid it would break, but it clearly sounds like metal. Alright, so the safety selector, there's no detents, it's very loose, and actually it doesn't go all the way there, but okay, safe, semi, full auto, it's just not going there. What about the other side? Yeah, something inside of here. Well, there we go there. Now this side works better. It's interesting that they're actually different. Like the shape of this is totally different from the shape of that. Why? Why wouldn't they just use the same selector switch on both sides? Please leave a comment if you know. Okay, so this is really neat. You get the Sig and all the text below it, and it's all engraved or molded into this body. It's not paint. It's literally physically there. Really cool. Not sure what that is. Maybe it's for a sling mount or something. Not sure what that is either. There's supposed to be screws here on the real thing. They're just mimicking it there. These are real screws here though, so I guess you can break this down. The barrel end here, okay, so that screws onto the barrel. Alrighty, interesting. So naturally it's blanked off. This is not going to shoot anything, no modification. I mean, even if you drilled through that, it'd be such a small barrel. I'd be worried about it breaking, because this is die-cast metal. It's not like forged metal. It would just break off if you hollowed it out. Alright, this little plate here. Oh boy. I think the spring isn't set properly, right? Or I shouldn't have done that? No. I almost feel like the tongs of the spring, this one needs to be on the outside of this. Yeah, might have to mess with that later. Okay, look at that. The bolt's moving back. Is this a magnet? Yeah, I think that's a magnet to hold this in place. Maybe the spring is not supposed to work at all. I might. Oh, look at that. I see. Yeah, that's the magnet's holding it tight, and then that ramp is pushing it out, and that's when the spring kind of helps as well. All right, so thankfully I don't have to mess with that spring. That does what it's supposed to do. Very neat. The bolt. There's something black in the middle of the bolt, and the bolt is the same gray as the rest. That seems a little odd to me. Oh, it's because this charging handle is also has to be gray. All right. Alright, let's just look up in here. So sadly, I don't have 3 hands here, so it's really hard to do. Try to get light in there. Hit focus, and let's just see if anything happens. No, there's no parts moving or anything like that. I don't know. Oh, I see. The middle ridge is what's supposed to ram the brass bullet into the chamber. As to why there's 2 grooves to the left and top and bottom of that middle ridge, I don't know. Maybe just alignment or saving metal. I do feel like this is kind of, I don't know, under detailed. Maybe there should be bolts here, or maybe I don't know. I don't have a real one of these things. This mag release is neat. It's got little serrations at an angle for grip. Cool. And it's ambidextrous, I think. No, it's not. It's only on this side you push. This side, though, no. You cannot push that. And then this, I feel like that might be pivoting, or it's definitely a separate part, but I'm not sure if it's supposed to move. Alright. How does this break open, I wonder? That's what I was wondering about this. So I was a little curious and, figuring that's a pivot point. It does pivot, but there's literally a spring spanning this gap. So that's the bolt spring, right? So I'm going to take off this last screw here, and let's just open the thing up. One of the screw heads looks like it was already stripped, so whoever assembled this at the factory was a little overzealous with the torque. Alright, so there's a spring holding actuating the trigger, so that's neat. You could remove the trigger if you wanted to. There's the recess for this thing, and then there was a screw for the barrel. It's on both sides. I already took all the screws off that side. Okay, well, yeah, you got a recess here for the bullet to sit in, I guess. That makes me actually now want to just take a bullet here. Okay, so yeah, it's supposed to go in that much, and then the hook can grab that to eject it. I'll deal with that later. Oh, there is some sort of spring pushing this black plate. Oh, that's the thing to open up the cover there. So that's kind of neat. Alright. I like to know how things are made. I don't know why. Just curiosity, I suppose. Oh, look at this. There's also a bent piece of metal here, and you could pull that out if you want to remove this black cover entirely. But it's supposed to be trapped here by this thing, but as you saw, it was out of place. So if you don't want to lose this, I highly recommend maybe add a dab of glue there, because it will probably just fall out one day. Let me put this back together. So it turns out you could actually put it back together using the pivoting method here. Just got to get that spring past this piece of gray. And there it goes. Hold on. Luckily it deflected off the monitor. There. Neat. So yeah, just these 2 screws here. I'm curious, the screwdriver it came with. Oh yeah, it is better. It fits a little bit deeper. Just trying to find the thread. I mean, die-cast metal is not very strong, so you don't want to apply too much torque. So this cheap screwdriver actually is a good idea because there's such a thin handle, you can't get too much torque out of it. Alright, so that's the way it was there. Screwing on the silencer here. Is it clockwise or counterclockwise? It's clockwise. Alright, so that's pretty neat. Some sort of grime there. Oh, my bad. I gotta put the shroud on. Oh, interesting. It took the it took this with it. So if that's the case, you might want to thread lock this area here, or just accept that the front of the barrel is always going to be inside of this thing. Alright, I assume this goes here, but is it going to clear the heads of these screws? I think I might have to tighten these down even further, but I'm afraid of stripping it. That's as far as those want to go. Maybe I have to flex past it. There's a groove up here, so it fits these tongues. Yeah, maybe it's a little tight in its casting, or yeah, I can't even get the grooves on. It's possible. Maybe I could just push it down. Nope. Oh boy. Yeah, this part is just not spread out enough. You don't want to bend it too much because, again, die-cast metal, it's not really good at bending very often. Hold on. The only thing I can think of is just to try to bend it a little bit outwards. Just using these pliers here, a little bit of outwards pressure. Alright, hopefully that gets me the extra gap here. No, it doesn't. I have to bend it further. Naturally, I bent it too far apart now. Now it's so super loose. It just doesn't sit well at all. Hold on here, I'm trying to show you. Alright, it's very rattly. So I'm going to bend it back a tiny bit now. But see, you gotta get past those heads, which aren't very good. There we go. I think that's just gonna have to do for now. Oh, but look at this. That first screw hole is aligned. The second one, though, is highly questionable, but I think you are supposed to tap into both of them. You know what? Maybe that's just extra paint. Let's hope for the best. So these two flat-tipped screws are gonna hold the shroud in place. I'm gonna use what's the big screwdriver they gave me. I honestly don't know if I just tapped that hole right now or if it was already tapped. I feel like there wasn't enough resistance for me to be tapping it. Alright, well these are much nicer. They're definitely sitting flush, right? So that's very cool and very secure with two of them. Alright, very neat. Definitely don't want to strip these holes out. I almost feel like this peg is off. See, look how the barrel is not in line, and then yeah, so something is wrong there. Yeah, so that doesn't look good, right? You might have to literally bend that a little. Well, yeah, there it is. I almost feel like it's also supposed to screw further, and this thing is supposed to be in the shroud. Boy, how would you do that, though? How could you possibly screw this in further without flexing the shroud out? I don't think you could. I guess if you're scratching the paint off, it will. Yeah, so that's kind of weird. I don't know, I feel like it shouldn't thread in so far or something. I don't know what the solution is for that. I guess I'm just gonna leave it kind of gappy like that, because leave a comment if you know a better way to make that sit flush. I don't even know what side is the front of this. Look at the image. This is supposed to be on this side of the gun. So let's do this. Yeah. Oh, there's some extra metal flash there, so you might have to clean up some of these parts. Yeah, there's also some flash here. Might be easier to take this off. Yeah, see? Look at all that extra metal there. I have some these Knipex things. There we go. Lucky we'll never see that area. And then you'll notice here, this clamp does have 2 tabs, and those are supposed to rest in the spaces of the Picatinny rail there, or whatever those rails are called. Yeah, you might have to, I don't know if sliding it on works. Oh, there it goes. You can slide it on. Good enough for now. Don't tighten that too much because it's plastic. You'll just strip the hole out. Or you know what? It might be brass. Look at that. I think it's a brass nut, but still, you could probably strip that out pretty easily. Alright, time to add the folding stock. So this little piece is going to go in there. And looking into that hole, it looks like it is tapped already. See? Hopefully you can see threads. I think I can. I might be mistaken. No, those are definitely threads, so it's going to be a machine screw. So there's actually a rail here. I never knew that about this gun. So you actually have 2 different positions that you could, got this ridge in here, right? Actually 3 positions. You could have super low, obviously super high, but it's sticking out above. It looks a little weird. But it seems like maybe the middle would be the logical one if you want it in line with the barrel. So I'm just going to put it on the table, and now get this little piece here. Alright, now there's still 2 machine screws left, so I have to assume it's one of these and not a wood type of screw. Yeah, alright, so that was a tapped hole for sure for the machine screw, the flat top screw. Alright, so now, how does this break open? You would think just this, right? Oh, look at this, there's actually a lock. So don't push it too hard because there's literally a lock holding this stock in place. And I'm trying to figure out how to work it. That's interesting. I don't know how this even opens because it's trapping this here, but it's supposed to pivot. It's kind of weird. Oh, I see. I think there's a spring in here. You got to push it up. Oh, there's no spring at all. Never mind. But you got to push it up in order to clear this little tab lock. So, all right, that's cool there. And then I feel like it's still a little loose on the rail. Okay. So to get it back, yeah, it wants to stay locked. So it is spring loaded, right? It's literally going upwards, so with the spring. So spring it upwards, there it springs, spring tighten. So that's pretty cool. The magazine. And you don't need to actually actuate the mag release to push the magazine in. On the pistols, a lot of them you have to do that, but this one is properly designed. And so now we have the stand, and there's a hole here. There's a hole here. And I don't even know what the stand actually... Oh, it goes into the grip. Like that, I see. And it's going to go like this. Alright, so now that I know that. And I assume this is also tapped. I think I see threads in there again. So there is one machine screw left. It's mysterious as to why there's 3 self-tapping screws. Oh, maybe they gave you 3 extra screws in case you strip these out. And those self-tapping screws are bigger than the holes. So if you do strip it, it'll still work. Sorry, I know I'm out of focus. I don't have 3 hands. Alright, so that is good. Right there. There. Alright, so that's all assembled nicely. Yeah. That's actually very smart, these people. They provided these. They look like wood screws, but I have to assume if you strip out a machine screw because it's die-cast metal, maybe these will just tap themselves in there. So very cool. Unless you know otherwise, why else would those be in there? Because there's no more parts left. This is also interesting. Why is there a hex? There's a hex driver, but I didn't see anything with a hex head. It would look a lot cooler with hex nuts and bolts, by the way, but I'm not going to deal with that right now. Okay. Let's weigh this thing. So fully loaded, the rifle is 333 grams, and the stand, if you're interested, is another 58 grams. Alright. Sadly, I can't get this thing off of the barrel tip because it's just screwed onto it, so I can't compare to this photo very well. Right now I have red thread lock, and so once that sets, I'll be able to remove the silencer again, but until that happens, we're just going to work with this here. Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, the logo's there. All this stuff. This does nothing, by the way. That black piece there. This is set backwards in that photograph. And now this is loosened up now that I took the thing apart. So I'm not sure what was holding it up. Maybe, again, some extra metal flash or something. And the stock there, that definitely looks identical as well. Alright, so all in all, I would say it does look like this image. I guess the only thing that's off is right here, right? You have I think probably a sling point there, but here they're using a screw there. But I feel like maybe another part could come out like it does on here, but oh well. Let's check out this shell ejection thing here. So, right, focus. So that opens. Just gonna slide it around forward, and it ejects it. I'm gonna try to do it slowly here. Grabs it. Yeah, with speed, the momentum would cause that round to come out. Or maybe there's a spring behind it. That's what maybe that black plate was with the spring. Alright, so it definitely works. It's pretty neat. I wish it came with 5 rounds instead of 3. Sadly, I cannot tell you if this is accurately 1/3 scale because of that silencer. I can't take it off right now, so that's the best I can do. Right now we can just look at some other pistols and see if it looks similar to the grip size maybe. That's the only thing I can imagine we can work off of right now. So here's a Glock, and I think this is actually 1/3 scale. The grip, yeah, it's similar in size, but I don't know. That's still, I do feel like this is big. There's a couple other larger scales. These are like 2.7 scale. And, yeah, looking at the the palm area, maybe, possibly. This is a bigger than 1/3 scale. This also is a bigger scale. Yeah. Desert Eagle is a really big pistol. And now that is actually bigger than the grip of this, so it's really hard to say. Yeah, I wish I measured it before I put the silencer on. I thought it would be a smarter design, but it is not. Alright, well, anyways, it's still pretty neat. With this silencer, it is around 11 inches or 28 centimeters in length. Maybe you can do some calculations off of that, but I cannot, or I will not. So this might be the reason why I'm not going to collect the larger scale weapons in this general range of 1/3. This is just really big. I mean, to collect one of these, I have the space to collect 6 of these, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So these actually have just as much detail. They just simply don't work. You know, you can actually pull this back, but it's not going to eject any rounds. So yeah, if they came out with like a wooden stocked M1 Garand, I'm talking real wood. I think the ones on Goatguns is painted wood, and that's not good enough for me. But they do have a Scar rifle, and that rifle is awesome. So if I can ever get back to the U.S., I'll probably order one. International shipping is just too much for me. Okay, well, thank you for watching, everyone. Long video. It's pretty cool. The only really big thing you have to mind is the barrel. You gotta like glue that, like thread lock the barrel on before you even have the silencer touch it, because otherwise it's just gonna be stuck in the silencer forever. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next scale gun video. Bye.